Joining us now, great to welcome on our Book Talk segment, a man who has written his first novel, getting a lot of great press already. It's called The Drifter, and we're joined today by Nicholas Petrie from up in, I believe, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, today on the telephone. And Nick, good to talk with you. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. I'm looking out at the snow on the ground, though, and really wishing I was in Sarasota myself.
I know, yeah. You're up in Wisconsin, a beautiful part of the country, but not so great weather for a few months a year.
Well, February can be a little challenging.
Yes, you're always welcome down here in Sarasota. We welcome anybody to come down to visit.
I appreciate it. Is there a couch I can sleep on?
Not in my house, unfortunately, but if I had room, I'd let you have it. But well, first of all, just kind of chat a little bit. This is your first book. We talked a little before we went on the air. Congratulations on that. I read your blog, and you kind of, I give you credit there. It's tough being a writer, and you kind of went through some challenges to get this first book out, right?
You know, I think anybody who wants to do anything creative really has to, be able to survive the rejection. That's just part of the process, and it's part of what it takes to get pretty good at what you do. This is my the fourth novel I've written, but the first one that I was able to get published. Right. So you just sort of have to stick with it, and that's my advice to anybody who is interested in writing: is don't let anybody stop you.
I think next to probably being a songwriter, getting a song published, an author is probably as tough to get their first book published. So congratulations on that. And just to give the topic of the book, I don't like to give too much away since it's a novel, but it deals with a veteran coming home. I guess he deals with PTSD, but he gets involved in solving a murder, right? Or a crime, anyway.
Well, his best friend turns up dead, and Peter travels to Milwaukee to help the widow by fixing up her house. And under her broken-down front porch, he finds a large, angry dog and a Samsonite suitcase filled with $100 bills and plastic explosives. And the owners of that suitcase would very much like it back. So that's how the book starts.
That's where the fun begins. That's a great premise. Talk a little bit about the character. I mean, I know just kind of reading through the notes, you talk a little bit about in the book as part of the story. He's a veteran, so he went through obviously some challenges himself, your main character, right?
Well, he suffers from a particular form of post-traumatic stress, and there are lots of different kinds. Really, there are as many different forms of post-traumatic stress as there are people who suffer from it. But I gave him an aversion to enclosed spaces. So claustrophobia makes it difficult for him to be inside, which means he's been living in a tent, hiking up in the mountains, or living in his truck since he got out of the military. And I gave him that particular set of issues because I thought it would add some limitations to something who's otherwise very smart and very capable. If I didn't want to write about a Superman, you want to give somebody some challenges. And the more vets I talked to and the more research I did, the more sort of this issue, what is it really like to return home from war, that sort of took over the book, and it's really become the centerpiece of it. It's so compelling, and I talked to so many fascinating people that it was really, it sort of had to become the heart of the book.
Peter Ash is the name of the main character, and he said he is a veteran of wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. So he's seen a lot of tough things.
Well, 8 years in the Marines, you go a lot of places and you do a lot of stuff. But I'm not a veteran myself, so I didn't really want to write about what his war experience was. I felt like I didn't want to pretend to be somebody I wasn't, and I really wanted to get the details right. And if I hadn't been there, I didn't feel like I could do that. But I can write about Milwaukee, which is where I live, and I can write about somebody trying to put their life back together. And now I'm in my 40s, and I've had some challenges myself in the course of getting to this ripe old age. So, that sort of starting your life over was interesting to me.
You said you talked to a lot of people, talked to other veterans to kind of get an idea of how to write about somebody going through PTSD, post-traumatic stress?
Sure. The issue really sort of came up, quite honestly, by accident. I run a building inspection business, so if you buy a house, you call a guy like me to tell you what's wrong with it. And in 2008 and 2009 and 2010, I realized that some of my customers were guys who had been in Iraq, a week or two or three before, carrying an M16 and wearing body armor and trying not to get killed. And trying to keep their buddies from getting killed, and realizing, and there they were, walking around a house in Milwaukee with me. So I realized how much I didn't know, and it was a window on this world that I really was embarrassed how little I knew about, and wanted to learn more. So every chance I got, I talked to somebody who had served and who was struggling, and it was really. I was really amazed and astonished by both some of the things these guys have been through, and the men and women both, and how they were just moving forward, putting their life back together. Even people who had serious injuries, who were missing limbs, who couldn't sleep, who they were just hey, this is the next mission, this is the next challenge. It's a great. It was really inspirational.
Do you see this character going on to kind of being a series? It looks like it's that type of character that you could develop into one novel.
Well, Putnam, who's my publisher, when they asked me to publish this book, they asked me to write another one as well. So that one is on the last round of edits right now, just going through the copy edits to make sure all the commas are correct. And that'll be out in a year from January. And just a few months ago, they asked me to write two more. So I'm working on the third book right now. So I sort of feel like I've won the literary lottery.
That's right. That's great. Now, I know it just came out. Have you had any feedback from other veterans that have kind of gravitated toward this character and gotten some feedback on him?
I have. The people come up to me at readings. I've done a bunch of reading events and book signings, and people come up and they've really thanked me. The one that really sticks in my brain is two folks who came up at a library event and said, "Well, thank you so much for the book and the character, and you really got it right." And it was something, honestly, I was nervous about. Is I didn't want to be this interloper, just showing up and writing stuff. I wanted to feel true to people who were living that. And I said that to these two, a man and a woman, and he said, "Well, I was in Afghanistan and she was in Vietnam, and as far as I'm concerned, you did a great job. And by the way, we're both Marines, so you got that right too."
Oh, that's cool.
So I have not yet had anybody say to me, "Boy, you really missed this. You really screwed this up." So that's really what every writer is looking for, is to tell a story in a way that seems right to people.
Yeah, well, that's great to get that early feedback. And again, the name of the book just came out. It's called The Drifter. We've been talking with Nick Petrie today. And Nick, give out your website. People can get more information about you or the book.
Oh, please. NicholasPetrie.net or NickPetrie.com. Either way, you'll get me. Or you can find it certainly on Amazon. You can buy it through Apple. It was actually named the best book of January by both iBooks and by Amazon. You can find it any place books are sold. Certainly you can buy it through Amazon or any of those big online retailers. Of course, my preference would be that you find a nice local independent bookstore, because I'm a small business person, and I like to keep those small businesses operating and keep that people working in your community.
Nick, hope we can talk to you again when the next one comes out. Please keep in touch with either Terry at Playback or directly, and I'd love to have you on then. But congratulations on the debut book, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for your interest in the book.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.
If you'd like to order the book we're talking about, please go to DougMilesMedia.com and enter the author's name in the Amazon search box. Thank you for listening. Please come back soon for more conversations here at DougMilesMedia.com. This has been a presentation of Doug Miles Media, all rights reserved. You can listen to or download previous programs at iTunes, Stitcher.com, or Doug Miles Media.